Welcome all of you to the 41st Annual Outstanding Mother Awards Luncheon. The National Mother's Day Committee is part of the Father's Day Mother's Day Council, a not-for-profit organization that channels funds raised from our awards luncheon to help meaningful philanthropies dealing with issues affecting children and families. We have donated more than $30 million to date to deserving family-related charities nationwide.
It is an honor to be back here again, and I actually have my certificate from my own Outstanding Mother Award. I carry it with me so it can't be revoked. Our 2019 honorees exemplify what it means to be a mom and a leader, and we're thrilled to recognize them.
I'm truly humbled to receive this year's Champion for Children Award. Please accept my most sincere gratitude and thanks. Thank you for all that you do for Save the Children.
My role as mom is my most important role, make no mistake. And being a mom has taught me how to be a better leader and a better CEO. Nothing great has come from small, safe steps. The biggest, bravest ideas, or as we say at Kohl's, greatness, comes from courage and comes from the heart. These attributes to me define outstanding mothers who also make outstanding leaders.
I am greatly honored and humbled by this. This is one of my favorite events. I love coming every year. I love hearing about how women connect their professional lives with their personal lives. That has a very deep meaning for me, so thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Good afternoon and happy Mother's Day to all the moms. I feel honored to be surrounded today by so many talented women and committed mothers. Know with confidence that you're terrific mothers. And on those days that you wonder, you are. Because you love your kids, and as you said, you do everything that you can for them.
When I had my son, I decided that Mother's Day was more important and more special to me than any birthday I had ever celebrated. Children and the mothering them is the most important role that we have. They are our future, and the more we invest in our future, my hope is that a better world could be had. So thank you to the National Mother's Day Committee and Save the Children for making this honor my favorite honor I've ever received possible. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lori Dowley, and I'm the chairperson for the National Mother's Day Committee. It is my pleasure to welcome all of you to the 41st Annual Outstanding Mother Awards Luncheon. And I also have the pleasure of introducing the young and talented Edward Williams School Choir, who is going to kick off our luncheon today with a song. Take it away, kids.
When
fantastic job for us, kids. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Have a great day. Mwah. And thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Please begin to eat your lunch while we share a few comments. We'll be sharing photos of today's event on Instagram. So if you'd like to be a part of the conversation, please find us at Mother's Day Award and use the hashtag #OutstandingMom. We'll encourage you to share your photos and be sure to tag us. On behalf of the National Mother's Day Committee, I am pleased to welcome our 2019 Outstanding Mother honorees. Jill Scalamandre, Governor Gina Raimondo, here, Michelle Goss, and Rebecca Minkoff. Over here. The National Mother's Day Committee is proud to recognize each of these women for successfully building their careers, nurturing their families, and helping improve the lives of others. We have a special recognition this year. We are proud to share that we will be honoring Jennifer Garner with the Champion for Children Award. As being a mother and duty calls, she couldn't be with us today because her oldest daughter is the lead in her school play. So she's doing what moms do. But we have a special video from her that we'll be sharing later. I'm also excited to welcome back our fabulous Mistress of Ceremonies and a 2015 Outstanding Mother honoree, Joanna Coles. We are thrilled to have you with us, Joanna. At this time, I'd like to thank our diamond sponsors, and they have done such a great thing for us. G3 Apparel Group, Comar, Lian Feng, Shiseido, One Jeanswear Group, and our double diamond sponsors, PVH Corp and Kohl's. Thank you very much for supporting us. And of course, we wouldn't be here today without the generosity and continued support of so many in this room. I see so many faces that support us year after year, and I so appreciate sincerely and wholeheartedly what you do for us. I would be remiss if I failed to share with you that the sponsorship generosity has allowed us to achieve an all-time high number in sales for our luncheon. A special call out to the Kohl's vendor community, of which there are many here today. We also have an all-time high attendance, making this room very, very tight. I hope you agree that in knowing that we've hit a new level of success, it makes it a little easier to accept the tight squeeze we've put you through. The National Mother's Day Committee is part of the Father's Day Mother's Day Council, a not-for-profit organization that channels funds raised from our awards luncheon to help meaningful philanthropies dealing with issues affecting children and families. Thanks to the support of the Council, we have donated more than $30 million to date to deserving family-related charities nationwide. Thank you. We are proud to be donating the proceeds of today's luncheon to Save the Children's U.S. programs and advocacy. Through its commitment to breaking the cycle of poverty, Save the Children strives to ensure that the most underserved children in America are ready to learn by the time they begin school, that they thrive academically and developmentally, that they are healthy and active, and that they are safe and protected when disaster strikes. Some of our committee members through the years have been able to firsthand see the efforts of Save the Children, and that happened this past March when a group went down to South Carolina. When I spoke to Nancy Feldman and Nancy McKay, both committee members, they were moved by so many things that Save the Children do, but they were caught off by the desperation in the families lives and wondering if their child was going to be able to continue to have the support of Save the Children in their community. They were really scared about that because these families have no way to give their and provide for their children what Save the Children does. Whether it's the after-school programs, the simple thing is snacks for their kids after school, books, oh, the mighty power of the book, and the reading help that are all some of the things that Save the Children provide. And these families just have no way to make that available to them. We take for granted some of these things that come so natural to what we provide our children with. Nancy McKay was also blown away by the Save the Children staff and volunteers and their commitments to the kids, seeing how hungry these kids were for learning. And once again, the power of the books. That is the only way that many of these children have any idea of what's available to them, what hope could be for them through what they see in these books. It's a window into the possibilities. If without Save the Children, I think many of these children would be left behind. I was personally on a trip to Save the Children in Mississippi a few years ago. Many of our committee members have taken this trip, and it changes your life. Because until you really see how ravaged these kids, they just don't have what we have. And I can safely say that most of us in this room really have never seen or experienced what these families and what these children go through to make it through life. We're so fortunate here. But in a few minutes, I'll tell you how you can all personally help in an effort to help what Save the Children does. So now is the part when I'm supposed to be introducing our longtime friend of Mother's Day, Father's Day Council, Mark Shriver. But as all things happen, there was a car crash on the major thoroughfare in Washington, D.C. He sat there for 2.5 hours, got there, and the plane that he was going to take was delayed, so there's no way he can be here. But just so happens that we have Carolyn Miles, the president and CEO of Save the Children, here with us today, and we're going to ask her to come up and fill in for Mark. Would you mind, Carolyn? All right. Thank you. Thank you.
So thank you to Lori for that introduction, and I am really excited to be here. I usually am not in the country this week. I'm usually traveling somewhere for Save the Children, but I came to this event probably 3 or 4 years ago, and it is a fantastic event. And so I was really excited to come. It got even more exciting when I got a phone call this morning at 8 o'clock. And when I saw Mark Shriver on the name on the phone, I thought, oh, should I answer this? But I did answer it, and I'm really, really glad I did. So it's really important, I think, for us to, first of all, thank Lori and her and the Mother's Day Council, because this is a fantastic organization. There's also a Father's Day Council, by the way, and these events have been going on for a long time, and the support that this group gives to our programs in the U.S. is really, really important. So I want to start by thanking both the Father's Day and Mother's Day Council. It's also really great for me to be here because I'm a mom. I have 3 children of my own, and I've worked for Save the Children for 21 years, so I've gotten used to that balance that every mom in the room knows how to do. And it's also important because this is our 100th anniversary, actually, this year, believe it or not. And Save the Children was actually founded by a woman back in 1919, which was a pretty amazing thing in itself because women couldn't vote yet. They couldn't get a driver's license. They didn't have bank accounts. But she had this basic idea, which was that every child, no matter who they were, had rights. And she believed they had the right to survive, first of all. So they had the right to make it through childhood. They had the right to an education, and they had the right to be protected from harm. And it was our responsibility to actually uphold those rights. So if you look at anything that Save the Children does today, it's all based on that idea and thinking that that's what we actually have to do. I think it's also important for us to talk a little bit today about why for Save the Children, the part that we do about advocacy is so important. So we do fantastic programs on the ground, and I'll talk in a minute about those. But we also have to raise our voice for children because nobody else does. And people in the world don't pay attention to children, actually. They don't vote. They don't have money, most of them. They don't really are not part of decision-making in most places in the world, certainly not in the halls of power. So it's very important for us to be advocates for children. And I'm so glad that the governor is here today because she's been a fantastic advocate for kids. So the support that the Mother's Day Council gives to Save the Children goes for a lot of our program work. A small amount of it also goes for advocacy. And a couple weeks ago, we were in Washington for our 17th annual Advocacy Day, which is a fantastic event. I would say any of you that are either in Washington or go there regularly should try to come. We had 260 advocates from around the country, from almost every state in the country, and particularly the places where the poorest kids live in the United States. And we also had a lot of students, a lot of young people. So we had about 70 college and high school students. And the first thing we do is get them used to what it is about Save the Children that makes us a voice for kids, and we teach them for about a day. And then they go up to the Hill, and they talk with their representatives there. And there were 135 meetings on the Hill the next day. And they were there to say that every child, actually they were advocating on two things. One, every child in the United States should have a chance to get a high-quality early education. And the second thing they were advocating on is that we need to protect kids around the world who are caught in conflict. And that's a huge issue for Save the Children globally. And I spend a lot of my time going to places like Yemen and Somalia and South Sudan to visit with families that are in those kinds of situations. But that advocacy is really critical, as I said, and kids don't have the advantages that they need, especially when it comes to early education. 51% of Americans live in what we call childcare deserts. So you've probably heard of food deserts. There are such things as childcare deserts. These families have no options for childcare. And think about it, as working parents, a lot of us in this room depended on some form of childcare when our children were young. And these are families that don't have those opportunities, and if they're there, they are way far out of reach for these children to be able to afford them. So one of the things we introduced in our advocacy was the Child Care Workforce and Facilities Act, which would provide competitive grants to states to expand the child care workforce while also building and renovating child care facilities in areas where you have these child care deserts. American families really need this reliable child care, and it's one of the things that Save the Children actually, in every emergency that happens in the U.S., one of the first things we do is we provide things that parents need and children need, like diapers and water and cribs and all sorts of things. The second thing we do is we go out and we find child care facilities in really poor neighborhoods, and we get them back up and running, because we know those families can't go back to work unless they have that child care support. So that is a really important part of what we do, and this advocacy piece of it will hopefully really get people interested and paying attention to this issue in poor communities. Early education is the core of our programs in the U.S., and I know the group that has gone to see them has visited those families, they visited the programs, and the other reason why this is such a appropriate setting is that mothers are at the core of those early childhood programs that Save the Children does. One of the things that we do is we have home visitors that go out into communities, and they actually train moms on how to be your child's best teacher and how do they get their child off to a great start. And I have been to visit many of these homes. They are very poor communities, most trailers, mobile homes, very ramshackle homes. Usually not a book in the house. There are no books in those homes. And what the early childhood visitor does is she brings a book bag. She brings books every 2 weeks to the families. But maybe more importantly, she teaches those moms what it takes to actually get your kids off to a great start. And I remember a long time ago, I went on a visit and I met a young mom named Danielle, and she had a little boy named Benji. And we were talking about all the things that the home visitor was saying, you know, when you get Benji dressed, you tell him this is a button, and these are your pants, and these are your shoes. And she turned to me and she said, you know, the first time that she told me that, I said to her, he's like 9 months old. He doesn't talk. Why would I talk to him? So this connection between what mothers can do and what they can make happen for their children. This was a young mom who had a very tough life. Her parents abandoned her when she was young. She grew up in all sorts of difficult circumstances. Nobody talked to her when she was a baby, right? And she didn't know about this connection. So giving moms that power to be their child's best teacher is what's so, I think, very important about the programs that we do in the United States. And those programs then extend into preschool and into the literacy program that we do in elementary schools. And we know that if we start a child with that home visiting program, we take them all the way through, they will do so much better by the time they get to the 4th grade and they take that reading test, which is critical, because if kids don't read by the 4th grade, they won't learn. They won't be able to go from there, and they will drop out. The statistics are super clear. They will drop out in high school, and the whole cycle will start all over again. So this early start is really, really important. So I want to end just by saying that these programs and the donations that you make, and I'm so happy to hear this is such a successful year, so thank you, everybody, for being in the room. These donations really make a difference. They make a difference on the ground for women like Danielle, for families every single day. They make a difference in us being able to raise our voices on this issue with elected officials here in the United States. And I'm just so proud to be here and be part of this. I want to read you one quote from our founder that said, "Save the Children is often told its aims are impossible. That there has always been child suffering, and there always will be. It's impossible to achieve only if we refuse to attempt it." And you guys have attempted it in a big way. So thank you.
I think Carolyn did a great job at really giving us all the details we need to know about the work that they do. Thank you, Carolyn. So at your tables, continue eating. At your tables, there's a package of pink cards. Can someone at the table pick it up? Yeah, I want to make sure it's not lost. All right, very good. All right, everybody found their packet? If you take one and pass it around, please. Take ownership. So let me tell you a little bit about what this is. This is our honor card that allows everyone in the room an opportunity to let someone you love know that you were thinking about them today. It could be your mother, your sister, your best friend. And you'll see that half of the card is a little mailer. And it tells somebody that you were thinking of them today and that you've made a donation in their name to save the children. The other side is the pertinent details that we need. So take out those credit cards and feel good about what you personally can do today. I want you to know that this year, anybody who participates in our honor program is going to be receiving a special gift generously provided by Jill Scalamandre. You're going to receive a Bare Minerals eye cream and moisturizer as just a gift for participating. And as with any good salesperson, we're looking for 100% participation. No donation too small or too high is is just all good. But I do want you to know what your money can do. $50 can provide a classroom with learning materials. $100 can give a portable home library. $250 can support the early childhood development supplies, helping teachers with the necessary tools. $500, you can help provide a child-friendly spaces kit to a local shelter. And with a $1,000 donation, you can cover the cost of a child attending KinderBoost, a 2-week kindergarten readiness program that helps to ensure a smooth transition from home to school. I hope you'll take this opportunity to support this incredible cause. And you'll get your 2 pieces of Bare Minerals when the girls come around from Save the Children during lunch to pick up your cards. Oh, I love the buzz. I love the buzz. All right. I just want to take a moment to acknowledge that throughout our 40 years, Mothers Committee has recognized 243 exceptional mothers. We are happy to welcome back some of these outstanding mothers we've honored today. They include Kate Oldham, Vera Wang, Gemma Leonello, Jane Hansen, Mindy Grossman, and Joanna Coles. Thank you, mothers, for coming back and being with us today. We have a video that's going to just show you what we've done and who we've honored in the past 40 years. And we've included some pictures from the March trip when we went to Save the Children in North Carolina. But before we play it, I have a very important thank you to my incredible committee who make all of this possible today. They are a very, very special group of people, and we'll play the video after I just announce thank you to Nancy Berger, Stacy Burns, Stacy Bortek, Kathy Bradley Riley, Karen Deutsch, Siri Doherty, Nancy Feldman, Nance Hastings, Marty Krasner, Nancy McKay, Kelly McPhillamy, Heather Mee, Dan Orwig, Danielle Poggi, Nancy Schmidt, Lori Singer, and last but not least, our director of the Mother's Day, Father's Day Council, Dana Vero, and Joan Moore, who makes it all happen in the office. Enjoy your lunch, fill out your cards, enjoy the video, and we'll be back about 1 o'clock to continue on. Thank you, everybody.
Understanding others' hearts and knowing what another truly wants is the most important thing I have learned and applied in business and in raising my 2 children.
I hope that my children will someday be as proud of me as I am of my mom.
It is the knowledge that I always had the true definition of unconditional love from my parents that has made me the person I am today.
So I looked up the word mothering, and it said to tend, nurse, mind, raise, to nurture, protect. My daughter the other day, who's getting married in the fall, said, you know, I'm thinking I just want to have 4 babies and do it right away and get it over with. And I was like, it's never over with. What are you talking about?
So, you know, I'm very proud of them. They're knock on wood, they're loving, happy, healthy, responsible human beings.
My mom is brave, she is respectful, and she is friendly.
Being a mother is the only important thing to me in my life. At night I'd get home and I'd be breastfeeding my baby, and then my daughter would say, Mom, I'm done. I'm done. Can you wipe me now? I'm like, this is motherhood.
But what I discovered, and what I didn't realize until I had kids, was that there is an army of working women who will help you along the way.
My mother was never one to follow the rules. Who else living in Iran would name her daughter after a Greek goddess who was known as a huntress and the protector of all single women?
But there is something I believe to my core, and that is that mothers are the most important force in the world. You know that statue of Atlas? There's one, over in Rockefeller Center of that man holding up the world. Why is that a dude? That should be a woman. It should be a mother, because mothers hold up the world. Everything we owe to our mothers.
Okay, now as we turn to the awards portion of the luncheon, I'm thrilled to welcome back this year's Mistress of Ceremonies, whose quick wit and smart humor add so much to our luncheon every year, Joanna Coles. Joanna is currently the executive producer of ABC's Freeform scripted drama, The Bold Type, now in its 3rd season, and a member of Snap Inc., of the board, Snap Inc. Joanna is a true leader who is helping other women succeed. She sits on the board of Women Entrepreneurs New York City, an initiative to expand female entrepreneurship with a focus on underserved women and communities. As I'm sure many of you know, Joanna recently served as the Chief Content Officer for 300 magazines globally at Hearst. Over the course of her career, she has been a recipient of a number of prestigious awards for her leadership in journalism and media, and was described by the New York Times as one of the most powerful people in media. She is an accomplished businesswoman, mother, and role model, and we could not be more excited to have her with us again as our Mistress of Ceremonies. Please join me in welcoming my friend, Joanna Coles.
Laurie and I are both here in animal print today, which I don't know what that says about us. It is an honor to be back here again, and I actually have my certificate from my own outstanding Mother Award. I carry it with me, so it can't be revoked. Anyway, before we begin the actual presentations, we've got a very special few words, a video actually from Jennifer Garner, who was unable to join us today because she's, as Laurie mentioned, with her child who's actually starring in a play at school. I wonder where she got those genes from. But Jen is receiving the Champion for Children Award for her incredible support of Save the Children and her ongoing commitment to the organization's mission. She's an award-winning actress, as you know. She's known for her versatility in television and film, but she's also taken on the role of philanthropist and entrepreneur. Jen has held the position of artist ambassador for Save the Children for 10 years, and she's brought Save the Children's early children's education programs to her home state of West Virginia. She's advocated on Capitol Hill, and she's traveled around the country to meet lawmakers, press, and philanthropists to raise awareness and funds for Save the Children. She also co-founded an organic food company, Once Upon a Farm, growing the company with the goal of providing children with the best tasting, most nutritious, and highest quality food produced using sustainable methods. Can we play the video?
Good afternoon, Outstanding Mother Awards attendees. I'm so very sorry I can't be with you in person today in New York for what I know is an incredibly moving event. I'm truly humbled to receive this year's Champion for Children Award. To Lori Dowley, Dan Orwig, Dana Verrill, and the entire Mother's Day Committee, please accept my most sincere gratitude and thanks. As you might imagine, working for Save the Children over the past decade has been beautiful and meaningful. I've had the incredible opportunity to travel to many of the most gorgeous and most underserved communities in our country. I've met moms and their children from the hills and hollers of Appalachia to the cotton fields of Mississippi, to the farms of the Central Valley of California, to the Quinault Indian Nation on the Pacific coast of Washington. I've seen how Save the Children's programs transform kids and families and entire communities, and I know the support of the Father's Day, Mother's Day Council, and so many of you in the room today helps us do what we do each and every day for these families. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for your generosity. Not everyone knows that I grew up one generation and one holler removed from poverty. My mom grew up dirt poor with a passel of siblings and no electricity or running water in Dust Bowl Depression, Oklahoma. It was education that put her on a different path and made her such a fervent advocate for my sisters and me. It was Mom who taught me that a book can take you anywhere, and education is the way to blaze your own path. Thank you to my wonderful, silly, wise, and sweet read-along buddy, my mom. I'm in such incredible company with my fellow outstanding mother honorees. Heartfelt congratulations to Michelle, Rebecca, Jill, and of course, Governor Raimondo. What keeps me going? Well, our children, of course. No one knows who will cure cancer, but maybe it's a third grader I read with in Alligator, Mississippi a few years back. Perhaps the next intergalaxy discovery will be made by a baby girl I visited alongside Miss Victoria, one of Save the Children's most beloved home visitors in Central Valley, California. Because if it's not us moms who are ensuring our children can grow up to be anything they dream or wish, who will? We can all be champions for children if we raise our voices, hold our elected officials accountable, advocate for what's right, and help ensure that every child, regardless of who they are or where they're from, have the opportunity to reach their full potential. Thank you again for this incredible honor. Thank you for all that you do for Save the Children. Happy Mother's Day, everyone.
That was so nice. That was absolutely lovely. I had the pleasure of putting Jane Garner on the cover of Marie Claire a couple of times, and one of the things that I remember about it was after each shoot, she would send a manicurist to the office who would do everybody's nails, and it was one of the nicest gestures, and frankly, quite unusual. I can tell you some other stories from our cover shoots. But I'm going to restrain myself to save Laurie's pride. Anyway, I'm proud to welcome 4 remarkable women to join the ranks of some very prominent prior honorees, including Hillary Rodham Clinton and her daughter, Chelsea, last year. Some of you may remember that. Estee Lauder, Caroline Kennedy, Susan Sarandon, Meryl Streep, Vera Wang, who's in the house. Yep, applause for Vera. Where are you, Vera? You're wearing the most magnificent coat. There you are. Well, of course you can't. Of course you can't get up because you're weighted down by your fabulous by your fabulous vest. And of course, I too am in that in that mighty roll-up, and I thought you might like some progress reports on how I'm getting on with my mothering. So I've actually got a letter that I received, which I thought I might share with you just before we get on to the other honorees. Anyway, it's from a lawyer. It's from the lawyer of our apartment building. And it says, "Dear Ms. Coles, it has been brought to our attention that your teenage son has been hosting large parties in your apartment." Oh, it gets so much better. The most recent one being last Saturday. The parties have been large, 40 to 60 teenagers in the apartment, and loud, extending into the late night hours. The parties are unsupervised by any adult. That's because we had no idea they were going on. And at times have become unruly, with the doorman having to break up fights in the lobby among partygoers and loud groups of teenagers coming and going from the building. We've had repeated complaints from the residents about the strong smell of marijuana that emanates from the apartment. And here is the kicker of which I'm truly proud. This past Saturday, a resident knocked on the door of the apartment to speak with your son about the disturbance. There were many teenagers in the apartment, but your son was not to be found. He had left the apartment and the building, leaving the party and your apartment unattended by a member of your family or a responsible adult. So you can imagine it's been really fun at our house for the last few months. And here's what distressed me about it. He didn't even have the follow-through to stick with his own party. Anyway, let us move. So here's my certificate. Now, as we know, the dual role of mother and career woman is no easy task. There are unbelievable challenges, and it often means having to sacrifice to achieve in the roles. And to achieve one is almost impossible. To achieve both is incredible. It's a real achievement, and that's what we're here to celebrate today. So our 2019 honorees exemplify what it means to be a mom and a leader, and we're thrilled to recognize them. And our first outstanding mother honoree is Michelle Gass. Where are you, Michelle? Oh, there you are. There you are. Michelle has been with Coles. Oh, hold on. So Michelle, for those of you who don't know her, and I urge you to mob her at the end of this because you will want to get to know her, she's the CEO of Coles, and she's responsible for Coles' overall strategy and operations, overseeing 1,150 Coles stores, Coles.com, and 130,000 associates nationwide. She's been with Coles since 2013 when she started as its Chief Customer Office, and she rapidly became its Chief Merchandising and Customer Officer, overseeing Coles' marketing, merchandising, planning, and product development operations, always thinking of the future. Michelle was a key architect in the creation of Coles' long-term strategic framework, the Greatness Agenda, in 2014. She's led the company's focus on becoming the active and wellness destination for families. She's launched Coles' Next Generation Loyalty Program, and she's been responsible for bringing in new and unexpected categories, partners, and brands, including Under Armour, Amazon, Planet Fitness, and most recently, Nine West, Elizabeth and James, and a home brand called Scott Living with the heavenly Property Brothers. I would like to know more about how that deal went down. She previously held a number of leadership roles with Starbucks over a period of 16 years, and she's probably responsible for more of us drinking more calories than we really should in the morning because she led the growth of the Frappuccino program. And she created the food menu there and their beverage innovation program. She currently serves as a director of PepsiCo, and she's received numerous professional honors, including being named to Fortune's list of the most powerful women in business and Fortune's Business People of the Year list. So please join me in congratulating Michelle Gass.
Thank you, Joanna. Hard to follow you, but thank you. Gosh, it's amazing being in this room, and it's an extraordinary honor, and I'm so deeply, deeply humbled. So I'll try to keep my remarks fairly tight here, but there are a few folks that I'll want to thank at the end. Let me just start out and say, first of all, when the team and Jen Johnson, who's part of the Coles team, came to me with actually a board member as well, who's here, Adrian, and suggested I participate in this, I was like, of course, I'm all in. It's about moms. I love moms. What I didn't fully recognize is how much it was going to be about me. But I couldn't quite get out after that point. I was committed. So I take the stage. It's really not about me, but it's about recognizing and celebrating all the amazing mothers who are in the room today, and all the great fathers who are here too that are attached to a mother, because you had to come from somewhere, and certainly to celebrate all the moms who are part of the Coles customer base, and that's what we stand for every day, is celebrating moms. Special thanks to Lori and the National Mother's Day and Nancy Committee and all you do, and to the Save the Children organization. I'm so proud now to be affiliated with that. It's just really incredible, and the stories were so touching. And congratulations to my fellow honorees. It's amazing and such an honor in and of itself to be part of this group, and then all the women in the room and who were shown earlier today who've received this really special honor. So I'll just make a couple remarks. As I reflected on receiving this award, thinking about the sentiment and outstanding mothers, and who hasn't met a mother who's outstanding, right? And a lot of great words come to mind, but really 3 for me stood above the rest. And as I think about outstanding mothers, they're empathetic, they're resilient, and they're courageous. And when I reflect on these, I also think that they're the attributes that define amazing leaders as well. And in fact, outstanding mothers do create outstanding leaders. So let me take a moment and just talk about each of these, starting with empathy. So empathy is the ability to simply understand the feelings and motivations of others. And instinctively, mothers emphasize with their children, regardless of how similar or different they are. And I'm sure no one in this room can relate to have children who are different from each other, even though they do come from the same gene pool. I will say my 2 kids, very different. My daughter, Megan, she's a freshman in college, is 19, and she is, for those of you who've had the chance to meet her, wildly expressive, creative, articulate. She explores the world with a curious mind and a passionate, empathetic heart. My son, Will, who just turned 16, is quiet, analytical, and a deep thinker, and I'd say wise beyond his years. He's gentle and caring, he's innovative, also curious, and he has an introspective mind and a pioneer's heart. Although they were raised by the same parents, Scott and I, the same house, they are very different in how they approach the world and how they communicate. And as probably many of you can relate to having teenagers, oftentimes it's not verbal communication, but you communicate in the channels they enjoy, and in our family, it is all about texting. So let me just share how different my children are. So I'll start with my daughter. My daughter and I text daily, often multiple times. You know, sometimes I'm sitting in a meeting and I'll see a text pop up from Megan. I try not to get distracted, but it is really fantastic to have this really special relationship, especially now that she's moved away. So a couple examples of texts that I might get in a morning or during a meeting. Have a great day at work, Mama. I love you and know you're gonna slay all your meetings today. Slay, 4 exclamation points. So, you know, from now on, my Kohl's friends, did you slay that meeting? Did you get that brand? Or a recent one, I'm channeling my inner Michelle today with curly hair and my Yeti cup ready to take on the day. How'd you think of that? Okay, so very expressive. She gets me every time. On the other side, here's a conversation with my son, Will. So here's me, Mom. Hi, Will, how was your day? Will, fine. Mom, what'd you do at school today? Will, not much. Mom, I was traveling. How was your week? My week was good. Smiley face. Oh my God, 4 words and a smiley face made my day. So I think we can all relate to, in the same way as a leader, it's about meeting people where they are. And leaders who empathize with their people, their customers, their partners, they set an environment to bring out the best in others, just like we try to do with our own children. Let me move on to resilience. Resilience is about responding and navigating effectively to the unexpected, to the things that don't quite go as planned. And again, I'm sure no one here can relate to that. When I think about outstanding mothers, fathers, and business leaders, I think about those individuals who exhibit incredible resilience and tenacity. While they are present to whatever daunting situation they are facing, they keep their head high and they power on. I look around the room, so many familiar faces where together we have faced some surprising and tough moments. And I don't need to share any of those stories. You know what they are. And I'm not looking at my mom or my aunts at all for this. But we got through those times, and as I say, you're stronger for it. And lastly, courage, certainly a quality closely related to resilience. And in our family, courage is core to our family values. We want our kids to have courage and confidence in themselves to pursue their own dreams and whatever those might be. Some of you probably know that the word courage stems from Old Latin for heart. And words for heart are often referenced as meaning inner strength. Any mother, any parent is courageous. No mother is stronger when she is fighting for her kids. The same is true as a leader. Leadership courage is an attribute I seek to encourage in myself and all those I work with. And I'm sure my partners here can all relate to that. We're really trying to build leadership courage as part of the Kohl's culture. And I don't think we'd be sitting here today embarking on a transformational partnership with Amazon, about to accept Amazon returns that people are buying from Amazon into all of our stores across the country. Just one example. Nothing great has come from small, safe steps. The biggest, bravest ideas, or as we say at Kohl's, greatness, comes from courage and comes from the heart. So empathy, resilience, courage, and of course, love. Among many other things, these attributes to me define outstanding mothers who also make outstanding leaders. So in closing, My role as mom is my most important role, make no mistake, and being a mom has taught me how to be a better leader and a better CEO. So I'm surrounded by so many amazing people, so just indulge me for a moment while I thank a few folks. First, to my Kohl's colleagues here, thank you for being the most amazing team in retail. The work you guys are doing is just truly outstanding, and it's a privilege to be part of your team. Next, to the very many partners and vendors that we have in the room, first of all, thank you for being so generous with this event. I am truly just so taken aback and so grateful for all you do for Kohl's every single day, and we could not be enjoying the results we're having today if it were not for all that you do. To my family, to my incredible two aunts who are here from Maine, along with my mom, you are my mom tribe. And you were my earliest and most profound example of what strong women are. You showed me what resilience looks like. To my husband, Scott, and the kids, so they're not here today in the room because my daughter has finals and my son is still in school. But I'm going to make them watch this video to make sure they knew that I said good things about them. So to Scott, quite simply, you're the most incredible life partner, and I'm so thankful for the 25 years that we'll celebrate this year in August. There are no words for the level of gratitude I have for all you do for me and our family. I could not do this without you. You know that. And to my kids, Megan and Will, you are my everything. Okay, didn't want to do this. I've made mistakes, I'm not perfect, and you make me better and you keep me going. My optimistic outlook in life comes from watching you become the incredible people you are. You give me great faith in the future and a reason to want to do all I can to make a positive impact on this world that you will inherit. You inspire me every day, and I am more grateful than you will ever know that I'm your mom. And finally, to my mom, Claire, Mom, Mame, Mimi. Those are all her words. There's probably a few other names she goes by. If there's one person who has all the best qualities a leader should have, it's my mom. Mom, you have been a tower of strength in my entire life. There come the tissues. You taught me that mothers are leaders. You've been sitting shotgun with me through this crazy life journey. And at every big life moment, you were the first person I'd call every time. I called you when at the age of 26, I decided to leave my great, very secure job at Procter & Gamble to go work for a little coffee shop company in Seattle. By the show of hands, who might have started their day or stopped by a Starbucks this week? Show of hands. All right, Mom, I think that worked out okay. And you were the first one I called from London when I made the unexpected decision to leave Starbucks after close to 17 years and come to Kohl's. After a very long pause, perhaps a little shock in processing, you exclaimed, "I love Kohl's. I buy all my bras there." So to my friends at PVH in the room, thank you for filling Mom's closet full of Kohl's bras. Mom, you always thought I could do anything, and you were so clear in that belief that you made me believe it too. I love you more. Happy Mother's Day. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to move swiftly on to our next honoree. I'm not going to stop on any of those cover stories with celebrities, and I'm definitely not going to tell you about the one who fired the hairdresser, and then the hairdresser came back with a pair of scissors and tried to cut out the extensions he'd just put in. I'm not going to give you any names at all, Renee Zellweger. Anyway, our next honoree is Jill Scalamandra, who's the president of Bare Minerals, a division of Shiseido. Jill is an experienced beauty industry leader who has a legacy of building iconic brands in both the mass and the luxury sectors. And in her current role, she's responsible for the development and the implementation of strategic vision and worldwide growth plans of Bare Minerals, Buxom, which I love. I love the name, I love the lip gloss, I love all of it, and Shiseido makeup. And Jill also leads Jaywalk, which is, for those of you who don't know, Shiseido's creative agency. And under Jill's leadership, Bare Minerals recently created the Power of Good platform, a women's empowerment project that benefits charities that champion 3 pillars: girls' and women's education, mentorship, and entrepreneurialism in underserved communities. She's also an advocate for women in beauty, and in addition to her role at Shiseido, Jill is chairman of Cosmetic Executive Women, Inc., an organization with 10,000 members that's committed to advancing the professional growth and leadership development of women in the cosmetics industry. She attributes her success to her biggest cheerleaders, her husband Mark and daughter Allegra, whose love and encouragement have supported her throughout her career. So at this time, please join me in congratulating Jill Scalamandra as a 2019 Outstanding Mother.
Okay, thank you, Joanna, and thank you to the Mother's Day Council, Lori and team. I'm greatly honored and humbled by this. This is one of my favorite events. I love coming every year. I love hearing about women connect their professional lives with their personal lives, and has a very deep meaning for me, so thank you. I usually don't fret about speaking in public. I'm fine with it, but I do fret when it comes to talking about myself. And so I've decided to make it easier on myself to just write a letter to my daughter and read it out loud to you. And you can all listen in. So, my dearest Allegra, I have been given this amazing recognition as an outstanding mother from the Mother's Day Council. While I know you are confused as to why no one consulted you about the award, Laura, you have to deal with that. I'm so happy that you flew in to celebrate with Dad and I. And it's in this letter that I hope to tell you a little bit more about why you make me feel my most special. Don't cry, honey, because you're going to make me cry. Okay. So let's first start with our bloodline. You and I come from a long line of strong women who have demonstrated strength, compassion, and love. Your maternal great-grandmother, Caroline, raised 2 daughters after her husband's sudden death at the age of 29. She went right to work delivering eggs from a nearby farm so that she could provide for her daughters. And when they were a little older, she took an office manager job at a china shop at Roosevelt Field and stayed for 40-plus years until she retired at the age of 75. Here was a woman born in 1905 who taught me the importance of balancing the love of your family with your personal passions. My mother, on the other hand, took a different path. She, Oma, as you know her, married a young Italian-American, Papi, as you know him. He cherished the ground she walked on, but he thought Oma's role was to raise their children, because that's how he was raised. Boy, did he get that wrong. My mother, like my grandmother, had an iron will and was determined to do things differently. She ended up running one of Papi's businesses, giving her the flexible work hours to be a mom, a wife, and have a career that seemed to work for them both. My parents didn't always agree on how to raise me. Your 2 uncles could basically do anything they wanted. But for their daughter, it was quite different. All-girl Catholic schools and curfews were my life until my mid-20s. My brothers drove motorboats, and I paddled canoes. All right? I remember one rather lively conversation when I asked my parents if I could spend my junior year abroad in Paris. I was so excited, and my mother thought that was a fantastic idea and fully supported it. My father, on the other hand, thought that I would never come back. So he said, absolutely not, it's out of the question. And then what happened next, I will remember for the rest of my life. My mother stood up and said to my father that if he didn't let me go, she would scrub people's floors to raise the money to send me herself. He knew better than call her a bluff, so off I went to Paris. So, there were many instances like this. She fought for me to be independent and pursue a career. She was my rock while growing up. But unfortunately, when I just became a new mother, we lost her to breast cancer, and I had to figure out motherhood without her. I was at a loss. How could I be a good mother without having my mother to guide me? But I found my strength through you. It wasn't always smooth sailing, and I'll say right now, I am sorry that I didn't cook you home-cooked meals, but I promise you, you were better off, okay, right? I may have missed some of your concerts and plays, thank you, Jennifer Garner, okay? But I did listen in through the phone. Your dad had the phone working, and I listened in, so all from Russia. And when I was home, maybe I was distracted by work a few times, and I remember you called me out on it. And I remember you said, Mom, when I grow up, I want to be a writer. I want to be an author so I could stay home with my kids, okay? And I'm like, oh, okay. So, all right. We tried to balance work and life, and I think we did a great job because nonetheless, we grew from each other. You taught me to be more tolerant and try to step into someone's shoes before judging them. So many times you were wise beyond your years. So when I called you and asked you, why do you think I deserve this Outstanding Mother's Day Award? You said, Mom, to quote you, you're one of my best friends and biggest supporters. You fully support me at the same time you push back when needed. Do you remember when I wanted to leave Seattle from Amazon and go to LA to try voice acting? You said to me, Allegra, I will pursue you in anything you want to do as long as you pursue it. And you are pursuing it. You've managed to be strong, independent, kind, and successful. Be it in your relationship with Beth, in your career as a voiceover actor, or using your voice to advocate for others. You make your father and I so very proud. And it's interesting that the type of mother I am is very connected to the type of person or the type of leader I've become. I recognize the importance of women helping women, to empower them as I was empowered, through mentoring women and through CEW and its mission of building tomorrow's leaders. And I'm lucky to work for a company, for a man, whose priority is to empower women. And your father, thank God, loves strong women because it would be very difficult without that. He supported us every step of the way, and we're so very grateful. You see, I truly believe you become a better person, mother, employee, when you do what you want, love who you want, but most importantly, pursue what makes you happy. So, Allegra, thank you for being the daughter I always hoped for. As I've always said to you, you are my best product launch. I love you in all ways. Thank you. And happy Mother's Day to everybody.
I sometimes wonder if my life would have been different if I'd had a daughter like you. Anyway, if you guys ever fall out, you know where to come. Our next outstanding mother honoree is the 75th Governor of Rhode Island, Gina Raimondo. Gina is the first woman to serve as governor of Rhode Island, a long-time public servant. She's also got a long history of outstanding academic achievement. After being valedictorian of LaSalle Academy in Providence, she went on to graduate with honors from Harvard, where she was recognized as the top economics student in her class. She earned a Rhodes Scholarship to Oxford, where she earned a doctorate, and she met her future husband, Andy Moffat. And Gina later graduated from Yale Law School. Jesus, Gina, you're showing everybody up here. Couldn't you have just stuck with your PhD? She also served as a founding employee and senior vice president at Village Ventures in New York, but Rhode Island had a tight grip on her heart, and in 2000 she returned, co-founding Point Judith Capital, Rhode Island's first venture capital firm. She was elected to serve as General Treasurer of Rhode Island in 2010, receiving the largest number of votes of any statewide candidate. And she was sworn into office as governor in January 2015 and has since won a second term. Gina, put down the glass, get out there and run for president. What are you doing? What are you doing here? It's time. She's also the chair of the Democratic Governors Association, only the second woman to hold that role. She's helped kickstart Rhode Island's economy, creating thousands of jobs, and she's helped bring Rhode Island's unemployment rate to its lowest level in 3 decades. after campaigning at a point when it was at the highest in the country. It's an extraordinary achievement. She's made record investments in infrastructure and education, and under her leadership, Rhode Island has become the 4th state in the country to offer tuition-free community college for every high school grade, which is an amazing, amazing achievement. So please join me in congratulating Gina Raimondo as a 2019 Outstanding Mother nominee.
Thank you, thank you. Good afternoon and happy Mother's Day to all the moms. That was very embarrassing. When I saw Joanna, I said, "Oh, this is so fun. This is going to be fun." And she said, "Wait until I roast you." So I suppose relatively it was kind. So I appreciate you going easy on me. Congratulations to the other honorees. It was wonderful for me to listen to you, and I'm so proud of you, and hope that we can all stay in touch because I think you're amazing. So congratulations to you. I want to thank Save the Children. You are incredible. I got a text early this morning from Mark Shriver. I think I got the blow-by-blow of his traffic problems because I kept getting texts. They started with, "Gina, I might be a little bit late," finally to, "I'm so sorry I can't make it." My top legislative priority this year is to bring about universal public pre-K in the state of Rhode Island. We will get this done. I saw my own children flourish with high-quality pre-K, and every child deserves that opportunity, and we're going to make that happen, and I am going to make it happen with and because of the support and brain power of Save the Children. So to all of you at Save the Children, thank you, thank you, thank you for all that you do. Thank you to the National Mother's Day Committee. You're pretty amazing. And I hear this is a blockbuster event, most money raised ever. So to all of you, thank you. And finally, but very importantly, to the folks at my table, thank you. My friends, my supporters, people who believe in me, and people who care about kids. Thank you, guys. So I have 2 children, my daughter, Cece, my son, Tommy. And when I found out that I was going to receive this award, I went home that evening, and we were having dinner, and I said, "Hey, great news, I'm going to be receiving this Outstanding Mother Award." And without missing a beat, my 13-year-old daughter said, "Seriously? They didn't even ask us." She was totally offended. She's like, "How are they qualified to decide if you're a good mother? They didn't even ask Tommy and I." So, you know, that's as you say, kids are different. There you go from the teenager. Today, as I was leaving, my son, who is 12 and, you know, mommy's son, I said, "Okay, mommy's going to go and get this award, and I have things to do in New York." And he said, without missing a beat, "No one deserves this award more than you, Mom." So that's the balance that I have in my house. That pretty much sums it right up to they ought to talk to me to reconsider, and I love you, Mom. But in all seriousness, I am incredibly honored to be here, and probably like the other women, am not totally sure I deserve it, but we try hard every day to be the best moms that we can be. And I'm unbelievably blessed with a gorgeous, wonderful family, 2 kids, an incredibly supportive husband. And I feel honored to be surrounded today by so many talented women and committed mothers. And for all of you, even though I don't know you by name, I know who you are, and I know what you go through every day, and know with confidence that you're terrific mothers. And on those days that you wonder, you are, because you love your kids, and as you said, you do everything that you can for them. My mother always said to me, and you're making a difference in the world with your families and in your careers. My mother always said to me, from the time I was a little bit of a thing, I'm the youngest of 3 kids, my parents worked incredibly hard so my brother and sister and I could go to college. They sacrificed like I can't believe. She said, Gina, if you ever need something done, ask a busy woman. It was her spin on give something to a busy person. She clarified, give it to a busy woman. Because if you ask for a busy woman to do something, it gets done. And I put a further spin on that, which is ask a mom. And I have seen, since I've been governor, the power and influence of mothers. Do not get in the way of a mother advocating for something she believes in. That could be Moms Demand Action, who advocate incredibly forcefully and effectively for common sense gun safety. Yes. That could be for moms advocating for better schools, high-quality childcare, high-quality pre-K. There is a purpose and sense of principle and righteousness and fairness and love that a mother takes to her advocacy. And I've seen it firsthand as governor. 2 years ago, we were able to pass in Rhode Island a bill which said if you're convicted of domestic violence, you can't have a gun. I know, it's shocking, right, that I thought we should do that? In any event, we were successful. It took me 2.5 years to get it done due to resistance. You know why it happened? Moms. They came, God bless them, every day, all night, all day, advocating. They weren't there for their own, purpose or their own sense of importance. They were there because they love their kids and want the same opportunities for every other kid to be safe in school. And so that's why we got it done. And I believe that being a mom makes me a better governor. I know that to be true. Often I'm introduced, as I was today, as the 75th governor and the first woman, which is true, but I'm also the first mom. I'm the first mom to be in the governor's office in Rhode Island. And I'll never forget the second week I was in office, a lot of people come into the governor's office, and several people said, it's so different in the governor's office. There are pictures of your family, pictures of your kids' art. I have a clock that my son made me, and they said, it's nice to have a family in the governor's office. And I can say that my children push me to be a better governor. Like last year after Parkland, when I was advocating for gun safety legislation, my daughter, I came home one day, dead tired, late at night. My daughter was doing her homework at the kitchen table. She said, hey, Mom, did you hear about that shooting in Florida? And I said, oh, it's terrible, honey. And she said, well, what are you going to do about it? And I started into the federal government needs to ban assault weapons, background checks. She shut me down. No, Mom, what are you going to do about it? And even saying it today, I have the shivers. So I went in the next morning, bright and early, hauled my staff into my office and said, what are we doing about it? I signed an executive order putting forth red flag policy, so getting guns out of the hands of dangerous people. And 2 months later, we passed red flag legislation in Rhode Island. Now, Cece put it to me because she's tired of being afraid in schools like every other kid in America, and she put it to me. Or my son, who is dyslexic, who said, Mom, we can afford for me to go to the school that he goes to. What are you doing about public schools to make sure kids like me in public schools get this same, teaching that we need to be successful? They don't want to hear excuses. They want to know, are you going to deliver? And by the way, every child deserves a well-funded and flourishing public school that meets their needs so they can be successful and have opportunity, not just the kids whose parents are able to provide that in private education. And I also think that, what I try to do as governor, as somebody said, there's nothing a mother wouldn't do for her kids. We fight like the Dickens for our kids. And I'm guilty as charged. Do anything for your kids. But what I try to do is fight just as hard for other people's kids. And that's what I try to take with me into the office. Whether that's climate change, what do I want for my children? A climate that they can inherit that is, sustainable. My daughter said to me, Mom, you're going to die of old age, we're going to die of climate change. I want a job for them. I want my kids to have opportunities for high quality, high paying jobs. I want them to have a good education. I want them to have gun-free schools. Well, so because I'm a mother, and I want that for my own kids, and I would do anything for them, I'd like to think I take a greater sense of purpose to my job, and it makes me a better governor and more effective. Because it's not about the notoriety and the press and the this and the that. It's about getting the job done for the people of Rhode Island, and the families of Rhode Island and the kids of Rhode Island. And I will tell you this, so often when I'm interviewed, particularly when I was running for office, I would be asked by a member of the press, so what are you, Gina? Are you a warm and fuzzy mom, or are you an ambitious, hard-charging executive? They couldn't place me. Which one are you? And of course, the obvious answer is both. And why can't you be both? I love my children. I do my work more efficiently to get home to be with them. It is the most important job I ever will have. But I'm also serious about being governor because I have 1 million people relying upon me to do my job. And it shouldn't be that you're asked, so pick, which one? A mom or an executive? So, and as I said before, and I think we've heard before, I think being one makes you better at the other. So here's the deal, people. We have a lot of work to do as long as we're still being asked those questions. So today, that is the challenge that I put to all of you and I put to myself. If our daughters, if we're going to get this country to a place where our daughters can be whatever they want to be if they work hard, and don't have to be asked to choose, and don't have to be asked that question because it's not confusing, then we have to pave that way. And there is still more work to be done. And I think that's one of the best things we can do to honor our mothers and to help our kids, our sons and our daughters. So I end by wishing you all a happy Mother's Day. My mother is now 87 and wasn't able to travel. I told her I was receiving this, and she cried, and she said, I'm so proud of you. There is no doubt in my mind that because of her, because of my aunt who dropped out of high school to get a job at a bakery, so my dad could go to college, there's so many women in my life, godmothers, aunts, my sister, my mother, who have been there for me, who have helped me, who have picked me up, who have paved the way. I love you all. I'll do my best to make you proud. And happy Mother's Day to everybody here.
I love the different kinds of comments and remarks that people make, and I think it's fantastic that we hear governors and CEOs talking so openly about this. And I absolutely can't wait for your son to start having parties in the governor's mansion. Anyway, last but not least, I do want to introduce one of my dear friends, actually, and colleagues. I got to know Rebecca Minkoff when she was a few months into motherhood, and I gave her some great advice. I told her that boys need to be treated like dogs, by which I meant that they need to be run every day. They need to be put on a track and just told, go. And I know that she took that advice to heart, because the next time I saw her, she told me she'd invented this game, and this is such a New York story. She had figured out how to keep her 2-year-old's energy in check by letting him throw birdseed at pigeons, and then when they came towards him, he was allowed to chase them away. Can you imagine? I mean, such a New York story. I absolutely love it. Anyway, I've seen Rebecca take her role as mother, wife, and entrepreneur in her stride, and in a way that doesn't take any of it too seriously. She strives to give children a better world than she inherited, and she's doing that by doubling down on us, by doubling down on women. From the charitable activities of each one of her collections to her Superwoman podcast that highlights the highs and the very low lows of prominent women, or even to the Female Founder Collective, where she has united over 4,000 female-founded businesses to promote women-owned businesses to the consumer, and also unite these women to help them lead each other to the next level. Being a mom is at the heart of everything that Rebecca does, because at the heart of her foundation and her business, she starts from her heart. So I'm excited to give Rebecca Minkoff the Outstanding Mother of the Year Award.
Thank you so much, Joanna, and for all the honorees, and for Save the Children. Thank you for all the work you're doing every day. So I must admit, when I had my son, I decided that Mother's Day was more important and more special to me than any birthday I had ever celebrated. And, you know, before having my son, I didn't really want to have children. I thought I'll have them at some point in the future, but there was no urge. The biological clock did not sort of start ticking for me. But as my parents were getting older, I decided, you know what? I want my children to have a relationship with these incredible humans that raised me, and I better escalate my path so that this can happen. It was a relationship I wanted to foster because I hadn't had that with my grandparents, who I had lost 2 of them before I was born and 1 really early on in childhood. And so I fast-tracked the whole getting pregnant, much to my husband's, like, this is not romantic. And I said, we are on a clock, and it is ticking, and we gotta go. So we got pregnant after several months of trying, and instantly I thought to myself, what have I done? Why did I want this? And I would text him. He would be sitting right next to me, and I would text him because I didn't want the baby to hear me. I regret this decision. We shouldn't have had a baby. I'm miserable, I'm uncomfortable, I'm depressed, I'm fat. And he just said, you begged me to do this. So cut to the day. I was at home and went into labor. I decided to labor at home as long as I can, and then scream in a taxi up the West Side Highway with other onlookers going like, what party was she at? Had my baby Nat Geo style, and when he came out, couldn't believe how much love I could have in that one moment. I call it the 4th dimension of entering, sensory overload, of just this visceral, soul-encompassing love that I had. And I thought to myself, why did I wait so damn long? What are we putting off if this is how much love we're capable of having for another human? So I decided from that moment on that, being a mom was going to be a role I took very seriously, and I had to change, going to work for 80-hour weeks to being the mother of my child and making sure he knew I was there for him. And that continued with the next 2 successive children I successfully talked my husband into having with me. And, I felt beyond lucky when my own mom came. Instead of having a traditional baby nurse, as some people have here, my mom said, I'll come up and I'll take care of you so that you can take care of your child. So she cooked for me, she cleaned, she loved me so I could be the most present mom for my baby. And that's the magic of being a mother. It's a role with no expiration date, where we have the power to give unconditional love to our children and support them in ways they will only be thankful for when they have their own. I sacrifice a lot to be a really present mother with my children, whether it's sleepless nights for nursing, pumping in every airplane, cab, closet, and I'm proud to say, boardroom. Earliest flights back, the list goes on, and from the mothers in this room what I'm talking about. But the one thing that makes it all worth it is that this is a relationship that only gets better with age. And the more time I put in, the more I get out of it. Children and the mothering them is the most important role that we have. They are our future, and the more we invest in our future, my hope is that a better world could be had. So thank you to the National Mother's Day Committee and Save the Children for making this honor my favorite honor I've ever received possible. Thank you.
Joanna Coles adds so much to this luncheon. We thank you so much. That concludes our luncheon, but you are going to receive, by the goodness of the Estee Lauder companies, your goody bag when you leave. So please enjoy. Happy Mother's Day, everybody. Thanks for being here. Fill out your cards. I'm counting on you. If you still have your card when you leave, you can leave it with the girls when you pick your goody bag up. Thank you, everybody.